Good evening, IG. It's Wednesday and it's past 7:30, so you know what time that is. It is the beginning of Logical Wellness. Today is Wednesday, July 9th, 10th? Halfway, a little more than halfway through 2024. Thank goodness. Hello there, Elga Blaylock. Good to see you. There's my girl, Renee. I got a special treat for y'all tonight. Got a special treat. Kyle Dean. What's good, sir? I think your wife just reached out to me earlier, and I need to answer that question. Hello there, Guapa Mama. Positive Aura P. Hello, Miss Patrice. Good to see you. Karen, when am I coming to DC? If I can help it, never, ever, 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 ever. Listen, even though I'm from the North, y'all have to give it to the natural manners of the South. I love the South. So for all of you that are up in DC asking me if I'm coming back, never, ever, ever. I'm never coming back. Nope. Up north is nasty and rude. And sorry, I love y'all because I got to. But I ain't coming up there. I'm not coming up there. Hello, RSV today. Nice to see you too. There's my spiritual twin. The official Phoenix Rising. My dear, what's happening? My stem cell sister. Listen. People don't understand. They need to get on these stem cells in ways that they probably will never understand. So, Phoenix, you and I need to, in some short span of time, do a stem cell Zoom. We can even do it when I'm in Mexico, right? Right? Oh my gosh, Guava, you're originally from the Bronx. Listen, I like the Bronx though. I like the Bronx, well, the old school Bronx and Brooklyn, more than I do like the political DC, like them there's. I love y'all. You know I love y'all. So when I talk about you only in love, but I'm not coming back up there with y'all. I'm so enjoying the yes ma'am, no ma'am, thank you ma'am, okay ma'am. Listen, some people are bothered when people call them ma'am. I don't give a shit. That's so polite to me. And in Georgia, you get that a lot just because. There she is, Felicia Monet. What's up, my LA friend? So good to see you. So good to see you. Felicia, are you here? Didn't you tell me you were coming down to Atlanta? Don't tell me you came and left already because we'll fight. So you guys, listen, I have some really fun stuff for y'all. I'm going to introduce y'all to a guest tonight. So I'm glad y'all are all here. I'm glad my family is here. And y'all know I have a dope husband, right? You know how awesome it is to say that you have a dope husband? Like my husband is he's just dope. So in the back, you might hear him like cleaning some shrimp because he's just dope like that. I love my husband. Felicia, okay, so when you come up in September, you know what that means, right? So let's get this started because I want y'all to meet my special guest tonight. And it's timely because I have a certification coming up next week and I'm very excited about that certification. But I wanted to give you all an idea. Many people, particularly from TikTok, are asking about LFD and what it is and the certification and how to learn it. So I'm going to explain that to you all, right? Because as spiritual beings, like beings of light and energy, you know our natural desire is to heal and be in a energetically, spiritually healed place, right? That's why we came here. That's what it's for. That's what our energy is for. It is to help and love others, right? So I'm going to talk about LFD and what you need and don't need if you decide that you want to learn this particular healing modality. And then I'm going to introduce you to one of my affiliates around the country, and I'm very excited. I'm going to start interviewing people who have learned LFD so you can understand that you don't need prerequisites to do what I do. You simply have to be someone who desires to help others. That's it. That's all. Can you imagine what this world would be if that's all we did? Like seriously, if that's all we did, was concern ourselves with helping others and being in a space of peace and happiness, do you know what this world would look like? It sure as shit wouldn't look like what it looks like right now, right? So let's talk about this. Let's talk about LFD and what LFD is. For those of you who do not know what it is, or who are new from TikTok, thank you again for coming from TikTok. I'm going to explain it to you. And then I'm going to introduce you to one of the people, one of the spirits, one of the beams of light who also has a desire to make this world something different. I'm going to introduce you to her, right? Norris Sports. What's up, Keith? Good to see you, sir. So let me tell you what LFD is. LFD stands for lymphatic frequency detox. And many of you have never heard of it before. Of course you haven't, because it's mine. I made it up. I trademarked it. It belongs to CEJ Images. And if somebody else says it that I didn't give permission to, they stole it. I miss you too, Trey. You all should come see me, you know. So LFD stands for lymphatic frequency detox. That's what LFD is. Why is that important to you? If you're somebody who's not a part of this soul collective that meets together on Wednesdays, LF, lymphatic frequency, stands for the living electricity that lives in our water. That's it. We are living water that carries electrical surges that allows our body to function. Period. Point blank, period. Do not let our system tell you that wellness or health is anything outside of an electrical current carried inside of our water that functions every single cell in the body. That's it. That's all. Goodbye. Good night. Thank you for being here, right? That's what I refer to as lymphatic frequency. Your lymph system, which is a waterway, a water-based system, carries the electrical current that your cells need to function. Done. Anything that they call DISEASE, anything they call disease, is a short circuit of that electrical current because your water has for some reason stopped flowing. That's lymphatic frequency, kids. Lymphatic frequency is wellness. Being well is a running system, a running fountain in your body. If the water is running, it is carrying the current. If the water stops running, then the current short circuits and they call that disease. So, lymphatic frequency detox is a holistic protocol that I put together that simply resets or reshocks the system into its own automation of healing. Done. That's it, people. I don't care what you're talking about, what disease or diagnosis you may be talking about. It all has a basis of a short circuit of the current that is running through your water. That's it. So lymphatic frequency detox is a protocol that I have put together that uses other living frequencies like sound, light, current, aromatherapy, all of these things combined to reset that current in your water. And if the current is reset, the water can flow, carrying more current, allowing your body to breathe, eat, and function well. Particularly filtering well, which is the way inflammation is removed from the body, and all disease comes from inflammation. Please stop paying this system to tell you anything other than that. What have I seen the body get rid of? Everything you can think of. Think of something, name something, even things that you all have never even heard of. Myself and my affiliates see the body get rid of it every single day. I don't care what it is, right? Does sound therapy help with anything? Sound therapy helps with everything. And thank you, Dee Dee Scott, for answering that question. The current that I just referred to, that electrical surge that is running in your water is sound. That vibration that we feel and we hear, that's what sound is. That's what our voices are. That's what music is. That's what percussion or vibration is. So sound therapy is healing, right? Absolutely. First of all, Tiff, we're going to talk about inflammation markers because that's one thing that I want y'all to stop doing. Stop doing, stop doing, stop doing. Please stop letting a system tell you that your body should be at certain numbers. Stop doing that. Everybody's numbers are going to be different from everybody else. And we live in America, so I was just talking to my husband about that. Everything we do in this country is inflammatory. So stop thinking about yourself compared to other numbers. That's part of our problem. They've got us messed up in the head because we're so thinking about us compared to everybody else when there's only one us. Why are you trying to be in a chart with a whole bunch of other people that aren't you? They're not. Right? We have to separate ourselves from the system because we are separate from the system. So what LFD is essentially a reset of the perfection of the creation of you, and then you heal your body from whatever your body knows it needs to be healed from. That's simple. That's it. And so whenever somebody says to me, Camille, can I become an LFD affiliate? Of course you can. Do you need any certifications? Of course you don't. Because all you need is the desire to make others better. That's it. That's it. That's all. It's energy, it's frequency, and we are using that same energy, that same frequency to feed and attach to others' frequency. And when you attach energy to energy, what happens to the energy? It gets stronger, right? The energy gets stronger. Energy is neither created nor destroyed, right? If we're still recycling powerful energy one to one, imagine what we'll do. And that's the ideology of CEJ Images. I want everybody on the planet to learn how to do LFD. Because if we do, there is no system to kill us. Because right now, many people are dying because they're not using the frequency of their brain. They're not using logic. And they're being told things that are completely and utterly insane and illogical. And it's taking them off this planet. And so the idea of LFD and the certifications that I host now 4 times a year is to each one teach one. My ideology is to teach as many people as possible so that you can keep feeding that information to every person you know. Imagine what we could do, y'all, if everybody understood their own power. Why do you think they try to control it? Why do you think they try to control that power with TV and the internet? Because the power of the frequency of a human being is more powerful than anything out here that we could do as individual humans. Point blank, period. And if you don't believe me, you can ask the people who have learned from me, right? So I'm going to introduce you to one of my people that you all have heard me talk about. And she and I heal very much the same way. And she is in Maryland. You all have heard me talk about green frequency wellness before. So I'm going to bring my friend Renee in here. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. Why won't it let me do it? Okay. All right. Right? And Renee, let me know when you're in. Let me see if you're here. Accept my invitation. There she goes. So let me introduce y'all to Renee real quick, okay? Because Renee is a very good friend of mine, and of course she's an LFD affiliate. Renee actually started as a client of mine, and a lot of the affiliates who come in and learn LFD actually started as clients. And it was their experience that had them create this desire to want to be LFD affiliates. So y'all hear me talk about green frequency wellness all the time. She makes amazing, amazing, amazing juices. What's up, my
Good,
friend?
my
It's
darling. How are you?
good to see you.
Me
It's
too.
fantastic to see you. I
Too.
do I do miss you, even though I don't miss the DC area. You know, there are some of y'all that I do miss seeing and communicating with. And so I thank you for coming in today because I want everybody who has a desire to learn LFD really understand how easy it is to do so. So let me first have you introduce yourself and tell us what you did or what you still do in your other life outside of
Side of
LFD.
healing.
Yes, outside of the healing side, what you do on the human side.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I am Renee, owner of Green Frequency Wellness, trained by what I like to call the sensei of lymph, wonderful Miss Camille.
Thank you very much.
Prior to doing the lymphatic work, I am an educator. So I'm an administrator at a local school here in Washington, D.C., over a STEM program. So you think STEM and you think lymphatic work, they you wouldn't think they go together, but they it really doesn't when you get down to the layers.
Okay, fantastic. So tell us how we met first of all, and then what made you decide to even think about doing LFD as another part of now your life, I guess we call it.
Okay. Oh, so how we met was my sister, another Camille. So I
Another
have
Camille,
all these
who's
Camille's in
another
my world.
affiliate too.
Yes. So I was having issues with my back, and I want to say this was around like 2018, 2019, maybe
Yeah, 20,
somewhere
yeah,
around there.
2018 probably.
Yeah. So my back, like crippling issues to the point I was going to the chiropractor every week just to be able to make it to go to work for the week. So my sister called me. She was like, I found this lady online that does lymphatic work and I think it can help you with your back. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'll try it. So I got online, made my appointment, went into the office, and Camille worked on me. And then she started talking to me about my sinuses. And I was like, this lady is nuts. Why is she talking to me about my sinuses? And I'm telling her that my daggone back hurts. But I felt so good when I left there and I just couldn't explain what it was. I felt so good when I left there that I just kept coming back every month like clockwork. Like, just sign me up. I'm gonna be here on Sunday. And over time, my symptoms just started to just go away. In addition to my face change. I mean, it's just so many benefits. I can't even just count them off. I need more fingers. Um, but yeah, primarily I started coming to you because of my back, and it just blossomed into something that I didn't even have the vision for.
See, and listen, that's what I like for people to understand is that when we go to look for specific things or specific results, we pull ourselves away from the whole,
Mhm.
right? So for Renee, admittedly, you were coming in for your back, right? And so when we talk about backs, and particularly now scoliosis, because I see a lot of people with a diagnosis of scoliosis, and people are like, Camille, why are you talking about my head when I have scoliosis? Uh, because your spine has a big ass skull that sits on top of it that balances your spine. We have been programmed out of logic when it comes to our system.
Yep.
You cannot isolate a back from a head or a back from a leg or a leg from a spine or an arm from a shoulder.
Yep.
You can't separate pieces of the whole and then think you can fix the
And
whole.
that's like
Um,
one of the biggest lessons I learned in your class. Like, you have to think of the body as one unit, right? And you can't fix one unit and not try to affect another unit. So it's all just all works together.
Correct. And so what made you decide that you wanted to come and actually take the class?
Um, So I was laying on your table one day, and I think it was during COVID. And I was just, you start contemplating what's next with life, right? Because COVID had so many of us kind of like, what is really going on? Because you didn't know, right? And I'm
Right.
just laughing with Camille. I'm like, you need to let me come in here and rub on some faces with you. Just making jokes. And next thing you know, and I knew that little mind was rolling Because maybe about a couple months later, Camille told me she was starting a certification course, and I was like, sign me up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the first sign me up. Don't even, that's my slot.
So Renee and probably Nikki, who is another one of my affiliates who actually works in the same place Renee did, they were really the ones who probably focused my laser focus in educating others. Because as much as I wanted people to know what I know, I didn't know whether people had the interest to
Mhm.
figure it out, right?
Mhm.
So Renee was confirmation because Nikki said it first, and Nikki was like, you don't teach people how to do this. And for me, because it's so energetic
Yes,
based, every single affiliate who learns this is going to do this differently
yes,
because there is no other Renee John on this planet. There is no other Camille Jones on this planet. All of us put our own energetic individuality into this technique,
absolutely.
making it different across the board. And there are only about 46 of us in the world right now who know how to do LFD. And so for you, Renee, what was one of the most surprising things either you saw or learned, either in class or being an affiliate who actually conducts LFD right now?
Oh, being an affiliate. And this one's okay. This memory sticks out because I called Camille when it was over and I was freaking out. So I had a client reach out, actually someone's daughter. The mother had, I believe, a stroke and was bedridden for the most part, not really communicative, very lethargic. So I got there and I was kind of like, okay, what am I gonna do? But you just go with your intuition. That's one thing this process taught me. You go with your intuition, you go with what you feel, because if you don't trust that, then how are you gonna put your hands on somebody and say you're helping to heal them, right? Assisting to heal. So I got there and she couldn't really talk, wasn't really saying much. And I'm just working away, doing my thing. And next thing you know, she turned to the side and she started talking. Like out of nowhere. Couldn't even say her name. And then her daughters were like, wait a minute, mommy, you feel good. And I was like, I don't know what is going on here, but I am freaking out. I got in my car and I called Camille. I was like, Camille, this is amazing. Like I literally watched someone in my face like go from a state where you don't know if they're gonna even make it to just like having a bolt of energy. It was just a beautiful thing to see.
And I love that you said that because one of the things about doing something like lymphatic frequency is that me or Renee or any of the other affiliates, even though we are performing something, it's not us.
Yes,
It is the power of the creation of the body. And if you
yes.
allow the body to be put in its natural state, the body will heal itself because it can't do anything else, right? So essentially, it's a fail safe. Like we can't screw up, right? We can't screw up because what we're doing is simply resetting the
Resetting
body.
what's
That's
already
it.
there.
That's it. The body does the rest.
Yep.
It is that simple. And I think one of the things that, and you can agree or disagree, Renee, one of the things that really shocks people when they take the certification is how easy it is for the body to turn over.
Yeah.
The body doesn't have a desire to be sick, y'all. The body has a natural automation to heal itself. If it can't do it, it's because we've been putting in what the body doesn't want or need.
And
Yes?
it's so simple. Like you always say, it's simple, logical. Well, it's so simple. And when you take a moment and you kind of get quiet, right? That's the importance of getting quiet. You kind of hear your body talk and you kind of understand why certain things aren't working. And it could be not just your own energy, it's the energy you're around. You know what I mean? All those things, you start cleaning those things up because you realize it has an impact on what is going on.
And that's super important too, because part of what we talk about in the certification is really understanding what affects the body. When people are normally asking us, well, Camille, what do I eat? What do I do? It's not just about what you eat. You
Hmm.
are affected by every single frequency that comes through the head.
Yep.
Either what you're watching, what you smell, what you're listening
Yep.
to, who you're hanging around. We all have this 6 foot energetic aura, and it's proven by Renee. All of the classes have something different in this energetic connection.
Uh,
And I can't, off the top of my head, remember what your class had, but the proof is in the pudding. So the combination of us being in a class, the energy was so strong
the
in one
lights.
of the classes. Exactly, that was your class. Exactly. In every class, the energy, the connection of the energy
Mhm.
is so strong. And this is what I talk about with this soul collective with y'all on Wednesdays. In Renee's class, every time the group of us were in the same room, the lights would flicker. I had another class where every time we would heal someone as a group, the symptom that the person on the table was feeling would go through one of the people that was standing there healing them. Sometimes it's sound. We have to get it in our minds that frequency is living. Color,
Yeah.
light, sound, it is all energy, and all of that affects us. So what we're doing is essentially taking that same energy and resetting it so that your body then goes and does the rest. So Renee, do you have besides what you just told me,
Mhm.
did you have an aha moment or surprising moment, or do you feel that LFD is continuing to surprise you
Every
and
damn day. Every day, like every day it surprises me because you don't realize how something it seems like it's something complex and oh no, you just need a little percussion. You just need a little salt. Like it's that simple. So every day I'm surprised by LFD, but I will say the biggest surprise was for me when you all worked on me collectively how a surgery I had when I was like 20 on my foot affected so many things within my body. We were able to make those connections and then start to reset the body.
thank you for saying that super important piece of information. Just like y'all, we can't separate one part of the body from the rest of the body. You cannot separate an experience in your life from the rest of your life.
Yep.
Those of us who are LFD affiliates can essentially track a diagnosis or a current symptom to an injury at
Yep.
3 years old or 5 years old. Because if, remember, water holds the ultimate memory. If you do not affect the trauma that lives in your water at 2 or 3 or 5 years old, it continues to refeed itself in your water
Yes.
until you are a grown adult. And then you don't understand why you're having certain emotional issues or
Yes.
certain physical diagnoses because you haven't released the trauma that's been in your water for
And
that long,
that's
which is
something you told me. Like when you said that your lymphatic water holds emotion. And I was like, what? And then it all just started making sense. It all just started coming together. And you'll realize as you're doing the work and you're moving the stagnation, you're gonna be emotional some days. You know, you might something's gonna come up. People are like, what? I didn't even think about that in like 10 years. Why is that coming? It just brings things that you kind of push down. It no stagnation anywhere.
no. And so, if you and you just talked about pushing things down, we have to remember that water is one of the heaviest creations
Mhm.
that was ever created in nature. And if people don't believe us, what do we think a tsunami is? What do we think a tsunami or a hurricane or a tornado? What do we think things like natural molecules like water are? And if you're holding large molecular things in your body like stress or like trauma, then what do you think you're going to do for your body?
Yep.
You are going to make it so heavy and so stagnant that your electrical current cannot be carried into it. It's the same description I use when we're talking about a hair dryer in a bathtub. If
Mm.
you plug in a hair dryer and you turn it on and you throw it in a bathtub of water, you will shock the shit out of the person who's in the water and you'll probably kill them. But if the water is moving in a speed fast enough to carry the current, then the person will not get shocked. It's the same thing. It's the same thing in the body. So Renee, tell people how easy or hard it was for you to either potentially market or get clients or build your business.
It was easy. One, I will say, when you're in alignment with what you're supposed to do, doors just open. Like, when you're in alignment, you know, you in this for itself, the power of uh people's reaction to your service, right? The power of the word of mouth, like that, over any kind of marketing, goes 10 times farther. Um it
Which
was
is
not hard
amazing.
to build a business. When you leave the class, you leave with everything you need. Like, I walked out the door and came home and was working on myself. Like, you walk out the door with what you need, all cutely packaged too. You walk
Thank
out the
you.
door with everything that you need to go to work on yourself, on family, and I can't even tell you the amount of people that I've been able to help. Like, it's just so beautiful.
And
Like,
that and that is beautiful because we are programmed in this country to think that there are only a certain number of people or a certain class of people that can help people. We were put here for that. That's what our energy is for. It's just our energy is constantly suppressed instead of being used. So what we do as LFD affiliates is we simply use our natural energy to strengthen the energy of others. That's it. And when your energy is strengthened and your energy is moving, your body doesn't keep any shit in it.
ain't it's impossible.
It's impossible. It's impossible. So, anything you want to say to these wonderfuls who may have questions about the certification or whether they should take it or whether it's
Just
going to be
do it.
beneficial for them?
Just do it. Like, do it scared. Just do it. Like, I can't even put into words the number of benefits. There's been so many benefits in areas of my life that I didn't even think LFD would touch. You know what I mean? Because, again, when you are shifting the energy, when you're getting rid of stagnation, doors open up in other areas. And do the class, do it scared, do it whatever you need to do, just do it, because Camille puts, you get so much knowledge, but it's not just about LFD, it's just about, like, being a balanced person, right? And a balanced human, and that's what you want. You want to come into this with a balanced energy and starting from a place of love, right? And it all starts from that place of love. Camille knows how I feel. This has been like an amazing ride. The things that I've been able to assist people in doing, it's been life changing, for lack of a better. It's been
I
life
love it.
changing, and I am so grateful for Camille.
I love it, and I love you, and I thank you so much for coming on and joining us because I know you're busy as hell. But I look forward to future retreats that we have together
Yes, I
at the
am
house in
ready.
Hawaii.
I am
Yes,
ready. I
yes,
am
yes,
ready.
yes,
Sign
yes.
me up.
I love you.
Love you.
I will see you in the DR, right?
Yes.
Listen, DR is coming up. I will see you for the birthday. I will see
I'll
you
be
for the birthday.
ready.
Yes. So I appreciate you, my dear. Thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you.
on.
My pleasure.
Absolutely.
Everybody have a good
Absolutely.
night.
Thank you. And so if anybody has questions for Renee, let me know. You could put them in here and I can either have her answer them or they can go into my DMs and I'll send them to her. But what Renee just said to you is essentially what I want everybody to get, right? We're not learning something in LFD that's hard to learn. We are literally simply resetting your programming when it comes to the power of your body. And what is special about the classes, and this is why I limit them to 6 people only, is that, yeah, I'm talking and I teach you stuff, but you're actually healing other people as part of the class. So I teach you something and then I show you. I teach you something and then I show you. I teach you something and then I prove it to you. How many of your doctors that you pay on a regular basis can actually do that for you? And that is not, again, to be demeaning or offensive to a doctor, but with something that is as crucially important as your state of health and wellness. Why would you not have a minimal expectation that you should be able to have proof in the same service time, treatment time, same appointment time, where someone is giving you information that you need, right? Yeah, Raquel, I'm excited too. And absolutely, I'm a practical learner too. And I think as humans, we learn easiest if we're doing. Like, how else do you, that's the easiest way to learn something is to actually do it, see what that learning does. That's automatic learning. The brain can't unlearn what it sees. Yeah. It can't unlearn what it learns. So when you're connecting dots that line up in a straight line, you are teaching by default. And so that is why I keep the classes small, right? Because I want every person who comes into the class to be able to, one, be healed as a part of their education, while they are also healing others as a part of their education. There is, to me, there is no deeper way to actually learn. And the idea is this, like Renee said, I don't want you to come and take the class and then have to wait 2 to 3 weeks for you to have what you need to start applying what you've learned. Everything you need is given to you in the class. You take that stuff home. Class ends on Sunday. On Monday, you can be affecting LFD on anybody you want, right? And like Renee said, energy is energy. When you put into your energy what you want back, you know it comes, right? Because we are energy, living in energy. That energy creates our reality. And so that is the whole point of manifestation. You can't state something and then hope. Manifestation means you say it, it's there, even though it doesn't happen in that space. The manifestation part means you understand all you have to do is state it, right? That's all it is. Sandy, good to see you, my dear heart. And I will see you in September too. So I used to do certifications 3 times a year. And thanks to the love of y'all, who I love and thank you very much, I have now added a 4th certification. So there are 4 a year. Normally about March, July. Now there's a September one, which I think I may move to October, and then, or I don't know, and then November. So there are 4. 2024 is almost sold out. I think September is sold out. There are 3 spots left in November. And probably this week I will be announcing the 2025 dates. But this LFD, these certifications are for me. They're for us. Like, they're for us. Because if y'all haven't noticed what's been happening in and around our system, particularly in these last 5 years, the system wasn't created for us. It wasn't created for us to be well. Doctors weren't taught to make us well. Doctors are taught to find a problem. But if doctors don't have the power to create a human, the natural systemic process of the body of inflaming and uninflaming will oftentimes look to a doctor like a problem. So we have to understand that the logic is in the body. Henry, do I have inquiries from Canadians? Oh my God, I need a Canadian affiliate so bad. I need an affiliate in the UK. TikTok has exploded for some reason. The number of people who have contacted me from the UK. Canada is a huge one. I need another affiliate in Canada. So yeah, I do get a lot of inquiries from Canada. I get a lot from Australia. I get a lot from the UK. So the idea is to train everyone. And Henry, I would love, can you please come and be my first male affiliate? That would make my entire life. It would just be amazing. But I definitively want you to come and do that. So can we claim that and make that happen? That would be awesome. So I want everyone to get the logic of healing, right? Speaking of logic, let's say that listen, I need y'all. Y'all are my soul collective, right? I love you. You make me and I make you. We make each other. We're all the same energetic collection, right? We're all connected in this same energetic space. But that means if some of us are a little sleep, the other ones need to wake up and help those that need to come over that hump a little bit, right? So I'm going to say this. Can we please stop repeating things that are told to us because we're just repeating them and we're not thinking about them when we say them? And I'm gonna use a specific example because that's what I like to do. I like to use examples because if I can't use examples, then I'm just speaking in generality, right? So I'm going to make a little segue to this eczema conversation because the reels I have posted on TikTok about eczema have exploded my business. And that's unfortunate because eczema is actually an epidemic that people don't understand is a very easy problem because the system keeps repeating to us misinformation. And because we don't ask questions, we keep repeating the same stupidity over and over and over. So I'm going to establish this logic so y'all can stop repeating things that don't make sense. Okay? So, what is one of the main things that I hear about eczema on TikTok? Because whenever I post a reel about eczema, it is always 100% of the time related to the sinuses, right? And so people will comment to me and they'll say, Camille, it's not a sinus problem, it's a gut problem. Okay, people, do you eat in your freaking belly button? Where in the shit do you put your food? Do you put your food in your belly button? No, because I know I don't eat in my belly button. So if I don't put food in my belly button, why does it make sense for me to say that something like eczema lives in the gut? Where do you put your food? In your mouth, right? And what happens to food when you chew it? The saliva of the lymphs break your food down into molecules, which is filtered by where? The lymphatic sinus filters behind the ear, i.e., sinus problems, which feed the vagus nerve, which is the large nerve that feeds food and oxygen to the gut. So when you're told certain things that don't make sense, I need you to simply ask a question. Doctor says to you, oh my God, eczema is a gut problem. But wait a minute, doc, I don't eat through my gut. I eat through the mouth. So stop repeating things that don't make sense just because your doctor tells you that that's what they tell you. They're repeating what they're taught in their system, which causes them to memorize things that are not created to heal people, right? Right? So we have to understand, where does everything that you need to feed all of the organs, where does that go? It goes in your head somewhere, either in the mouth, in the nose, in the ears, in the eyes. Where does the filtration to your gut start? The organs don't just live by themselves, right? They don't just live in this space that's separate. The food comes from somewhere, doesn't it? Where does it go? It goes through the mouth, and then it has to be filtered through the first set of filters. So if the first set of filters aren't working, then what gets fed to the gut is the excess and the inflammation that is now fed into those organs. But if you go to the doctor and only let your doctor, it's the same thing. We're going to go into the diabetes conversation. It's the same thing. Why, if the kidneys are only one part and one set of organs that's a part of the filtration system, Why do you let your doctor only test the kidneys when they test your filtration, inflammation, processing functionality? You're forgetting the spleen and the pancreas and the liver and the stomach, but you allow them to test one organ that is attached to every single other organ outside of the heart that lives in the gut and tell you that you have a particular problem of one organ. What is the matter with us? We're not thinking. How are they going to tell you you have a kidney problem when the kidneys share the same filtration tract as every other organ, including the reproductive organs? So stomach issues aren't any different than uterine issues, aren't any different than prostate issues. They're the same problem. They all get fed or not fed by the same lymphatic tracts. That's it. That's it. That's all. So we have to think about this one unit and this one system, which is what I teach in the certification. Not only do I tell you, I show you. I show you how I could touch you here and you could instantaneously lose fluid in your gut. You lay right on the table. I take a picture and I videotape it for you, because if you're not paying attention, you'll never see it. And if you're not paying attention and you're just being fed information, not only will you never see it, you'll never experience it. So the whole point is to show you, teach you, experience it, and each one teach one, and you go home and teach every person, family member, friend that you know, and then show them how to do the same thing. That's how we break the system. Otherwise, we're going to be exactly where we are right now. Many of y'all have multiple family members who aren't here anymore. They would have been if the last 4 years hadn't happened, but now they're not. Why? Because they didn't ask the right questions. They didn't make the dots connect in a straight line, and what they allowed to be put into this powerhouse took out the power. It took out the power. That's what was in that, was a stagnation that short circuits the electrical current in your body so the cells can't talk to each other. And if the cells can't talk to each other, you won't be on this planet anymore. And so when I teach you about understanding the one unit, you cannot have a back problem without a head problem. You cannot have a hip problem without a back problem. You cannot have a shoulder problem without a head problem. So many of y'all have let them operate on a bone or a joint. Nothing was wrong with the bone or the joint, because aren't they still digging up bones that are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years old? So you think the human genome has changed over time? No. The levels of inflammation have changed, and the waterways that either filter or stagnate inflammation is always the problem. And those things sit on top of the bone. But you let them go switch out bones and change. Like, what? Okay. So if you allow a doctor to change your hip bone because you have pain in your hip bone, nobody ever asked them what is actually causing the pain, because you haven't been hit by a car, right? You haven't had somebody take a sledgehammer to your bone, right? So if that's the case and bone is supremely strong, have you ever asked them what it is that is actually causing your pain? Because they can't tell you that it's the bone, because it's not the bone. What did the bone do? Just decide to have a day where it's like, well, shit, I'm not going to work anymore. No, you haven't been hit in it, so it's not trauma. What causes the pain? Pain is always a stagnation of water. Either it's around the nerves and you get nerve pain, it's around the muscles and you get muscle pain, it is sitting in the tissues, which gives you swelling, but those tissues are fed by the lymph system. Pain is always related to water, whether the water is stagnant, whether it is swelling at the moment, whether it has been building into the tissues, it is always water. But I guarantee you, you will never hear that from your doctor. You know why? Because the system doesn't teach your doctors about the water. Your body is 80 to 90% water. And I mean everything. You all are so focused on giving your blood away, and blood is 85% water. So they take 15% of your functionality out of your body, and then you let them determine that you have a certain disease or diagnosis. That is insanity. No human will ever be able to dictate to you what your body is doing internally. It is impossible, and that's why humans couldn't create humans. The only thing that will ever tell you what is happening in your body is your water. What do you think an itch is? What do you think a pain is? What do you think psoriatic arthritis is? What do you think eczema is? What do you think hair loss is? What do you think wrinkles are? They are signal flags that the water inside of the body is not flowing and it is pushing out through the skin. But you prefer to take a narcotic to kill that signal while your body continues to get sick, and then you wonder why you're never better. It's logic, and logic lives in your water. Without the flow of that water, there is no electrical current that can flow to have your cells communicate. If your cells can't communicate, you are sick. Period. My husband and I were just having a conversation about food and diet and certain exercise, and I'm thinking, that's what's backwards about our system. We're so distracted running from this disease and that diagnosis and this food and this air and this water that you forget your titanium protection is in the flow of the water. But the more you worry about this, that, and the other, the slower your water moves, which means you feed and breed illness in your body because you're thinking too much outside of the power of the internal workings of your body. Period. Your water doesn't know how to decipher whether it's filtering CaNCER or diabetes or high blood pressure. It doesn't matter. Your body has a filtration system that works to filter every single molecule out of it that is not nanoparticulate in size and innate to the body. It doesn't matter where it comes from, y'all. If you're so distracted trying to fight and run after this pandemic and this epidemic, your body will never be able to fight. Ever, ever, ever. However, conversely, if the only thing that you're thinking about is how to keep your water moving, you don't have to worry about any of that. Am I telling you to eat McDonald's and am I telling you to eat crappy food? No. However, what I am saying is that in America, it's all crappy food. Everything, everything. I don't care if it's a vegetable, a piece of fruit, it doesn't matter because they've sprayed insecticide on it and they're microwaving you 24/7. You have phones up to your ears and people are like, well, Camille, I don't eat this and I don't eat that. Hold on, genius. You talking about all this stuff you don't eat, but guess what you do? You go to a restaurant and eat on the same silverware that millions of people have eaten on. You sleep in a hotel where you sleep on the same sheets that millions of people have slept on. You go into public bathrooms. You touch door handles. You go in and actually use public bathrooms. If you don't think that our body has an automatic filtration system, all the shit we do, we would be dead at 10 years old. But the body has a system that will continually fight unless you keep putting shit on top of shit on top of shit without the filter, and then you're going to shut down your body's ability to do anything. So you absolutely have to make sure that your focus is not on what to run from. But to understand that everything is fought the same way when your body is in the right space. So you have to get your body in the right space to be able to fight everything that is coming at us. Because listen, until minimally Bill Gates is taken off this planet, everything that's happening to us every day is going to kill us. Everything, everything, the air, the water, everything that we put on our body, unless you're making it at home. Listen, I want y'all to get this. The benefit of living before the Industrial Revolution was this. Everything that we used, ate, created was made by people in small communities. Every single solitary thing that you have to manufacture and then put on a shelf has what? Chemical preservatives in it. So anything that is sold in mass, en masse, in large quantities, everything is deadly to the body. Y'all talk about baby powder and this cleaning product and this cleaning product. If you buy that shit from a store, it has a preservative in it that's going to kill you. We should be back at community living where we're making everything that we put on our body, everything we clean, everything we eat, or you should be in a close community of people that you can get food that doesn't have preservatives in it. Like you go to this wonderful place in Atlanta, the Atlanta Harvest Farm, which I love. They sell food until the food is gone. We are not meant to live on a shelf. So why do we eat shit that lives on a shelf? You're putting dead stuff into something that is living, and you're expecting the dead stuff to what? Come alive in the living space? You think that dead stuff is going to activate life? It doesn't work like that. What we have to put in has to be like heals like. In holistic modalities, that is the basis. Like heals like. LFD uses the same electricity that is present in the body already. You cannot take different and make those things match and work. They don't. They just don't. They won't. You could try. You could try forever. It's cute. That'll be fun for you, or maybe not. But I'm not trying that. I know that a living, breathing, nanoparticulate human that is meant to eat minerals and breathe air is not going to be fed to benefit its functionality by things that are dead. It doesn't, it's just, it's yeah, right? Absolutely. Be Original said, and the attacks on our plants is heavy. Yo, it's beyond, it is mind-boggling what they are now doing. And if you're looking at fruits, the fact that there are people on this planet who don't know that seedless fruits are a problem is a problem. That's part of this programming that is making us zombies. If fruit doesn't have seeds, where do you think it comes from? If it's a seeded fruit, right? Where do you think grapes and watermelons with no seeds come from? They don't come from the earth. They just didn't appear. They come from a lab. You know what happens to a lab rat? They die. You know what happens to a lab animal? They die. Do you know how you can experiment on living beings living in nature? You can't. You can't. We don't live in a lab. We weren't born in a lab. Why do y'all keep trusting data that comes from a freaking lab? It just, it doesn't make sense. Like the people who come to me have been going to doctors for the majority of their lives and never once have felt better ever, 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 ever. And they come and lay down and they feel better once. Why is that? Because Camille is great? No, because the natural creation of a human is great until you keep letting them put deadly chemical narcotics into a living being that will take you out. It will short circuit your body because it's killing the signal that your body is trying to give you that your water is stagnant. It's that easy. It's not hard. It really isn't. And it's really sad for me and even for my other affiliates to see what's happening to people because we're not using that electricity across the brain. And then we don't ask questions. Right. Phoenix, you can't even find fruit with seeds in the stores. You can't even find fruit. I used to love that we could find fruit in the farmers markets down here, seeded fruit. You can't even find that anymore. You have to go to like some of these individual farms and farmers who grow their own food. And even that, y'all, those farmers have to work harder than they've ever worked because while they're asleep, your government sprays their soil at night. So they've got to do extra, 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 extra. That's right. It's always been about eradicating the seed. Exactly, Raquel, in everything, including humans, including humans, eradicating the seed so we can't keep populating. That's a problem. That's deadly. Y'all, we can't, there is a way, right? Because people ask me all the time, Camille, are you saying don't go to doctors? I keep reminding y'all, that's not what I'm saying. I come from doctors. That's what I come from, right? They're very genius, wonderful people who want to help. The system didn't train them to do that, right? Period. And I'm not saying if you want to go, not to go. What I'm saying is don't allow one person, being, or other entity outside of you to tell you whether or not you feel good. What does your freaking body say? Does your body say I feel okay? Does your body say I hurt? Does your body say I itch? Does your body have a signal? Why would you go to another? Why would you even come to me and let me say to you, you know what? You're sick. When your body's not telling you that you're sick, you don't have a symptom, a pain, no indicator that something is off, but you're going to let me say to you that you're off, even though your body is telling you that you're not off? What kind of sense does that make? Y'all, I'm tired of seeing y'all not be on this planet anymore. I'm tired of my clients coming in to tell me how many people they've lost this week. I'm tired because it's much easier to just listen to your body. When your body needs help, it will ask for it. But guess what? It can't ask for it if you've put a narcotic in it to shut that signal up. It can't tell you shit. Can't tell you anything. Nothing. That's the point of the narcotic. It closes the brain. It cuts off the signal. All the while your body is continuing to become inflamed. I'm just asking. Yeah, Raquel says, and how can something without a seed be organic? Like even that, y'all don't even know what organic means anymore. They just put a sign, they put a sign on top of a little space that says organic, yet what they have are seedless watermelon. I need y'all to start thinking. I need y'all to start working the synapses across the brain. I need you to say, oh, what is organic actually supposed to mean? And is this organic? Many of y'all don't even know what organic's supposed to mean. You do know that if something is made, created, or planted, if something is planted and it's put in a truck, you know it's no longer organic, right? Or do you just not connect those things? I need y'all to connect those things. Like when you're talking about things that they tell you live in the gut, but you don't freaking put food in your belly button, understand what they're saying or not saying. Ask questions to even keep them in the space that's going to make this work for us. Because if you keep allowing them to do what they were taught, please remember this. Please remember this. Doctors don't work autonomously, right? A doctor can't come up with their own protocol if the AMA or the insurance company say they can't do it. They can't do it. They can't do it. You, they cannot. I'm not saying they don't want to. They wouldn't have gone to school for that long if they didn't want to help you. They weren't taught how to do it. They weren't taught because if they were, they would know about the lymph system fully. And they wouldn't give you narcotics that shut down your organs in order for you to act like or say you may feel better, but you'll probably be dead before you feel better. Those things don't match. And it doesn't mean that doctors are bad. It doesn't mean that doctors don't want to help. That's exactly what they want to do. But the system didn't train them to do that. And the system controls them, not themselves, not themselves. Many of y'all are waiting for tests you don't need, not because the doctor didn't say it was necessary. The insurance company that pays them is determining that it's not necessary until they say that it is. That has nothing to do with your doctor. That has to do with the corporation that controls your doctor. Those things are very, very, very different. So is the knowledge base there? Certainly it is. But is the way to affect your state of wellness there? Nope. That lives inside of you. So you're either going to let that control you, or you're going to let outside frequencies like the system, who gives not one iota about you, the power to do that. I know that's not what I'm going to do. So what I do in LFD is simply tell you and then show you what I'm talking about. Every time somebody lays on my table, it is an educational experience from the gate. I'm going to tell you something, and then I'm going to give you a mirror and prove to you what I just said. I don't know how many of your doctors can do that. I could do that every single time. Every single time. And I do. Because if I help you outside of you, meaning if I get you to a state where you feel better, but I don't teach you what it is that's actually making you feel better, you don't learn anything. And in 2 weeks, you'll be right back at the same space you were before you came to see me. However, if I teach you what I'm doing so that you can then maintain that at home, guess what you don't have to do? Go to ask a doctor if you feel good or not. And that starts young. I teach my kids as young as 2 how to treat themselves. I let them hold the machines. I let them hold the tools. I tell them exactly what they're doing. And guess what they do? Go home and keep repeating it. And guess what they won't be? Adults who are part of the system. Guess what they won't be? Sick adults. Guess what they won't be? Zombies in the head. Because they're going to know exactly what they're doing, and they're going to know exactly how they're supposed to feel and not feel. Hospitals were created for the military, not for you to determine whether or not you feel good, right? Right? Exactly. Right. Exactly. So your hubs has CHF, and the time he starts to eat right, the time he starts to eat bad, he feels weak. So when we eat, right, we have to remember this. When we breathe through our water, H2O. Our water carries the oxygen that we use to breathe. Can I prove that? Certainly. You know what the lungs are? 90% water. They're water. We breathe through our water. That same water is what breaks down molecules of food, yeah, to be carried to the gut through the vagus nerve. So if we're eating large molecule GMO food, or we're eating energetically dense food, which I will show you in a second, which is kind of gross, then the body's same system that breathes is the same system that has to process those large molecules of food. So if you're trying to eat large molecules of food, which takes a lot of energy out of the same lymph system used to breathe, you're going to get tired. That's what the itis is. For those of us that are melanated and we make this joke about the itis, that's not a joke, and it's not funny. We get tired because we eat like shit. We love barbecue, we love fried foods, and the body can't breathe and eat large molecule foods at the same time the way we need to. That's why we feel weak. That's why we feel tired. You ever eaten kale? What does kale do? Energizes you, because it is a nanoparticulate in its molecular structure, which gives the body energy. Minerals are what runs in that salt water that is our lymph system. right? We sweat salt, we cry salt, we pee salt. It's all minerals, right? So we have to feed minerals into our minerals for our body to process the right way. So here's a little segue that's kind of gross, but I want y'all to understand what I'm saying. So when we measure molecular sizes of living things, right, like humans, we measure the energetic mass in what's called GBs, in gigabases, like gigabytes in computer programming. We measure the energetic mass in gigabases. So I'm going to say something a little interesting to you. Humans, right, on a molecular level in this energetic density, measure an average of 3.4 what's called gigabases in our energetic density. And when I tell people that they need to eat logically, I'm not saying that you have to completely cut out this, that, or the other. What I'm saying is if you eat it, you better understand what consequence that's going to bring. And either you're going to make a decision to eat it or you're not. And if you make a decision to eat it, the expectations that come with that, you need to be ready for. And you need to have your body ready to either filter it out or be able to break down what you're eating into time periods that will give your body extra time to process it. Like this. Humans measure about 3.4 gigabases in energetic density. Yeah? You know what a cow's energetic density is? 2.7 gigabases. So if you're eating cows, that's like cannibalism. That's like you trying to eat and process human meat inside of your body. So if you say, okay, well, Camille, I like it anyway, I'm going to eat it. And you know that it takes about 2 to 4 to 6 weeks, depending on your processing speed in your body, to get rid of meat. And you know that throwing meat into a trash can rots after a day or so. If you're deciding to eat that shit on top of itself, day after day or multiple times a week, by week 2, you're a sewer inside of your body. And if you are not taking that time and doing extra lymphatic movement, like extra exercise and extra vegetables and extra movement, in that week 2, you would be like a person who has taken a crap in their toilet that is not flushing 3 to 4 times a day, however many times you eat, and just letting it sit and rot. And then you're putting more on top of it. And it's molecularly too big for your body because minerals aren't even measured in gigabases. Minerals are measured in nanoparticles. So from nanoparticles to gigabases, we're talking tens of thousands of sizes in between. So you have to logically, when I say you have to logically eat, you have to think about stuff like that. What am I putting into my system and how much bigger is it than what I'm actually supposed to be putting in my system? And how am I getting this stuff out? Some of y'all are sick because you're full of your own shit. Some of y'all eat and you eat 3 to 4 times a day and you go to the bathroom twice a week. Do you know what you are? A toilet. And you know what the system calls a toilet? CANCER. Infection, inflammation, diabetes, high blood pressure, everything that you're scared of, you keep putting that shit in your body every single day. And then you don't think about the fact that those things are directly connected, like directly connected. So you can't say, "Oh, I'm going to eat chicken and not beef." You know the gigabase size of chicken? 1.2 gigabases. So chicken is smaller than beef, right? In energetic density. But still, if human meat is only 3.4, chicken is still 1.2, you're still eating yourself. And then how are you getting rid of it? Some of y'all don't exercise, so you don't sweat. You're too big for your britches, so you don't cry. You don't move your water. You don't go to the bathroom. You don't drink enough water, so you don't actually defecate. So you keep rotting on the inside and putting more on top of more on top of more without flushing the toilet. And then you're wondering why you've been diagnosed with CANCER. Figure it out. You create that in yourself. And you know, the one system that gets rid of that is the water. But that's the last thing you happen to be thinking of. And it's the one system your doctor doesn't know about. So you're going to a person to tell you your state of wellness who can't. They don't even know about that. They know that there are things called lymph nodes, but they don't know that the lymph nodes are fed by the lymph vessels, that you keep throwing large gigabase energetic density or energetically dense food into a system whose energetic filtration system is not working. So you tell me what disease is and isn't. And now you see why those of us who practice LFD watch symptoms go away like that, because all we're doing is resetting the system that's meant to filter out everything that will eventually become a disease. It's that easy. It ain't hard. It's not hard. And if it wasn't the case, every person on the planet wouldn't have the same system. Your system isn't different than mine. Do we have different gut bacteria and different stresses and different genetics? Sure we do. But the baseline creation and functionality of humans in the human genome is the same across the board. If it wasn't, that wouldn't be the system that fixes it. That wouldn't be the solution. We all have the same solution. We all just affect that solution differently. We all just read that solution differently, or we don't read it if we're not taught, right? Thank you, Henry. See you soon. Thank you very much, sir. We all have the same system, right? So if we all have the same system and the system is designed to do the same thing, learn the functionality of that system and learn what personally you are doing to affect that system either adversely or beneficially. It's one of the two. You can't be in between. You can't be going to your annual physical every year talking about, I'm living holistic. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? You're living holistic, and the only thing that's wrong with you is you're on high blood pressure meds. You have no idea what holistic means. You have no clue. And, okay, so one more thing. This is what I mean when I say, as committed as doctors are, they are indoctrinated to memorize stuff. And that doesn't make sense, right? They want to tell you that HBP is a blood problem. Camille says it's a water problem because the blood is 85% water. But those of you who are on blood pressure meds, what is the main med that they give you? A freaking water pill. So it's there, but they're just not connecting to it. They give you a water pill because their book says to give you a water pill. Well, that means the problem isn't a blood problem. It's a water problem, isn't it? Yeah, because getting rid of the water is their objective. But if the system of water that's already there to filter your water is already there, why do you take the med? Because somebody's repeating something to you that doesn't make sense and you're not making it make sense for yourself. So I just want you to make sense of it for yourself, because if you do, then you come out of the rut. You come out of the system of, oh, I was on this medication for 10 years. Now they've moved it to this one. Now they've upped this medication. For what? None of them help you. Because if they do, then you'd be on it and then you'd come off because the problem would go away, right? Exactly. They even put the water pills inside of exactly. Yeah, exactly. Water pills. Water pills. Fish and seafood. So, okay, somebody says question about fish and seafood. And I'm going to say this, right? I am not a perfect eater because guess what? I live in a world where my brain has a pleasure center, right? So I am not about not giving myself what I want when I want it. But the basis is I always have to be logical about what I eat. Somebody asked about fish and seafood. I just talked about the energetic density of chicken and cows. However, I am a shrimp lover. The energetic density of shrimp is higher than chicken. It's 2.5, right? So when I talk to people about balancing out what they eat, if your water is in constant flow in the body, everything that you eat that's not natural to the body, by automation will be filtered out. Does that mean I'm telling you to eat shrimp every day or 3 times a week? No, I'm not. Fish is a lot lighter than shrimp or than the other, dwellers like crab and lobster. Fish is different, right? Because what do fish do? Fish swim in the water. The others lie on the bottom. Yeah? So there's a difference. But what I'm saying is the focus it should be on what we eat, but that shouldn't be the primary focus. The primary focus should be where and in what state is our lymph water to process out what I'm going to eat in this fish or shrimp. Or if I eat chicken today, how long do I have to wait before I eat it again? We are not in this country, in most places, outside of Florida and some other places, we don't have ocean. We certainly don't have clean sun. All you got to do is look up at the sky every day and see all the metals they're spraying in the sky. But if your concentration is, okay, I've had this today, that means if I'm smart, I am not going to repeat that for another 2 weeks, and I'm going to make sure that my water intake is this and that my movement in the frequency of my water is this to process what I just ate. That's got to be the thinking, right? Why is there such a push for a carnivore diet? Huh. Because America, for some reason, has this fascination with trends. Oh my God. Y'all thought the Atkins diet was the be all to end all. See what happened with that shit? Then you thought the vegan was the right thing. You see what happened to that shit? Now it's meat. It's like every time somebody has an idea, and before there's been enough time to really assess, just like you need the time to actually get the realistic data. You can't speak things in theory as fact without the results. And so now it's like this trend. Okay, let's talk about carnivore and meat and the protein. The original protein was plant protein, not meat protein. And before the mass manufacturing and the hormone injections and all of this crap that we have put into meat, at one point, that would have been a benefit because the theory behind meat and the protein of it is technically a good idea. However, they've completely started to push this without assessing our lifestyle or our world or the cows and the chicken and the other meat that we eat are now 20 and 30 to 50 pounds heavier in hormones only. Like, why do we think that so many women and men have hormone issues? Because we're eating injectable hormones in food, and then we forget that when we go to the doctor because the doctor only wants to test what? One or two particular things in a system that has over 300 systems in it. Like, that's when I say logic, that's what I mean. Like, I want people to ask questions like that. Like, why is there a push? Because we're followers. Americans, let one person in freaking Hollywood say one thing and everybody, like a high school cheerleading squad is like, oh my God, I want to try that. And I want to try that. For what? A carnivore diet may actually work for a person who has a lifestyle that allows them to process that type of diet. But there are billions of people who have their own their own biology, and their biological insides are completely different, which is why I tell people to stop following trends. Your body is the only entity that's ever going to be able to tell you what it likes and what it doesn't like, in spite of what the person next door is eating or what success they've had. They are not, and then they talk about the oxtails and greens. Right. So you see what I'm saying? So everything has to be a balance. Like if something doesn't make sense to you, then it doesn't make sense for your body. That is a literal interpretation. If the brain is feeding chaos to the body, chaos from the brain creates illness in the body. The body can't fight its own cognition in the body. This has to be synced in order for the body to follow. So if you're confused up here, the body's going to be sick. So if something doesn't make sense to you in your head, no matter who says what, then don't do it. Don't follow it. If you question it, that is your internal working telling you and your water telling you that you do not need what you're questioning. If it works in your brain, it will sync immediately, and that is what your body is asking for. That's what your body can process. Your body cannot process anything the brain is unsure about, period. Which is why I keep reminding people to ask freaking questions. Ask a question. If somebody tells you, even me, if I tell you something that doesn't make sense to you, question me in that moment so the two of us then come to an answer together. I can't help you ever. My affiliates can't help you ever if we don't get the majority of the information about your life from you. Not from any test or anything I'm going to do. You have to tell me. You have to tell me. And then we come together in this energetic space where we have a conversation. And most of the time, you know who answers the question? You do. But it's the connection of that energy and you asking questions that allows you to uncover what your body has been trying to say through your mouth for a long time. Right? What about black seed oil? I love black seed oil. I love black seed oil. Black seed oil is one of the original natural seed oils, not this other shit that they make up, that is very antioxidant for your body, removes inflammation very well. My CANCER clients that take black seed no longer have symptoms of CANCER. Let's just say that. Black seed, particularly in the bitters form, very important. What about eating for your blood type? Very good question. Even though there are some benefits to that, your microbiome is still different than a general blood type. We need to eat for our water and our own individual microbiome. We cannot read a book about eating for generality when there is no other person like you on the planet. I have many clients who have effed themselves up eating for their blood type. Why? Because their lymph system wasn't in a position to eat for their blood type. Remember, blood is 85% water. If your lymph system is not in a state to eat for that 15% blood type, you will screw yourself up. You have got to understand, just like in heavy metal and parasite detoxes, you cannot do a heavy metal or a parasite detox on top of a system that is not flowing. How do you think all of those dead parasites are going to get out of your body? So, can you use eating for your blood type as a guide? Certainly you can. And as a starting point, certainly you can. But you then have to allow the body to tell you which of those things are right for you and which they aren't. Because there are going to be a lot that are and a lot that aren't. It is going to be one, contingent on your individual lymph system. And because we're water, that's going to change A lot, right? You can start eating one way, it will start to reset your system, but then you need to change in that progression of your lymphatic movement. So if you are waiting on a book to tell you what only your body can tell you, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in big trouble. So you have to be one that sits. That's the whole point in meditation. We think meditation is this trend thing that we do. No, meditation is a way to connect you to the only system that's ever going to tell you whether you are well or not. So you have to, so when I say logical, that's what I mean. You can start in a certain way, but your water, you're never going to be in the same position all the time, all the time, all the time, right? So look at that. So true. I did the eating for your blood type and vegan and you got worse. See, because your body, just like when people go and give blood tests or they give their blood at a doctor's office, first of all, your blood is only 15% of your functionality, but then they take it out of your body. So as soon as they take it out, guess what happens? They have completely changed. Your blood no longer functions like it did when it was in your body. And so they take it out, and then you're like, oh, this is what the blood is doing. Well, yeah, now the blood's outside of my body. So that has nothing to do with the blood that's still in my body. Do I like oregano oil? In doses. Again, you have to be careful with oregano oil. People have to be mindful enough and move slow enough to do things in doses that will allow them to pay attention to what their body is responding to that particular thing. Oregano oil can also make you very sick if your body is not in position to process that oil. So people say, well, Camille, can I use oregano oil? Okay, so who am I talking to? Because a person who has CANCER, or a person who has what they call diabetes, or a person who has what they call high blood pressure, my answer to those three people are going to be completely different. Completely different, and they should be. You cannot do what your best friend does because your best friend said it worked for them. Great. Your best friend is not you. You have to do things slowly enough to understand what is happening to your body. And based on the fact that your body changes its process from minute to minute, if you're not paying attention, you could be on this track and be using oregano oil for something for so long. And while you're paying attention only to that one thing, you're not paying attention now to what's happening on the underside to your microbiome, which can't process your oregano oil. You get what I'm saying? So we can't expect to keep doing the same things over and over without paying attention to how a system that operates in movement is processing that over and over and over time. You're welcome. You get what I'm saying? You have to be so present. And y'all, that's the point of the scanner. I keep talking to y'all about the scanner. That is the reason I keep saying you have to have the scanner software, because the scanner scans your water at any moment that you want it scanned, so that you're always cognizant of what's happening to your water. Many people get into diseased states because they're not cognizant of what is happening to their water every day, right? But if you have the scanner and you're scanning yourself, you're like, oh shit, okay. There's a stagnation in this particular space in my body. Let me start thinking about it and figure out what is happening. And then the scanner resets your water. So if you're constantly rescanning yourself, like I scan myself every day, then your first and foremost thought is always your water. And if you're constantly thinking about it, you're sending your electrical current to it. And if you're sending your electrical current to it, your water is never still. And that means that you are not sick. That's the whole point. That's the point. That is the point. Yeah, you've got to. Yeah, the cure is amazing. You have got to listen to your body. Your body holds all knowledge and all help inside of it. All of it. All of it, all of it, all of it. So we have to make sure that you're allowing your power to actually work. If you are submerging your water in narcotic chemical, how do you ever expect your water to heal you? Like those are questions that if people just ask themselves one time would save a lot of people's lives, and they don't. Like, I'm sorry, you're going to lock up me and anybody else who sells a narcotic on the street, but the difference in the definition of narcotic changes because it's prescribed by a doctor? In what world? This upside down one we call America, that one, it's the same thing. It's a narcotic. A narcotic will kill you on the street. It'll kill you in a prescription too. It's a nar-freaking-cotic. It is going to suppress your body's inability to actually reset itself. One, because it kills the signal that your body uses to heal you in the first place. So when I say ask questions, I'm not saying go to your doctor and be like, Camille said I shouldn't listen. That's not what I said. What I said is, if you choose to go, you don't let that person be your primary source of knowledge. You let your primary source of knowledge be your knowledge. That primary source lives in your head, not out here, not me, not them, in here. I make you think about what's happening to your body. That's why I teach you. I don't just repeat things just because. That's not in my interest. That's not in my interest. I just want you to, use your brain, right? So, my loves, as always, listen, if you're new and you don't know I'm having my 50th birthday in the Dominican in September and you all need to come, I'm inviting all of y'all, right? I am very blessed by your attendance and your desire to listen to the stuff I spew every week. And energy is strong. And when you have the opportunity to celebrate with people who share your energy, it's awesome. So I want you all to come. So if you haven't made the plans yet and you're just hearing about it for the first time, the birthday information is on my website and y'all have to come because we're just going to celebrate because we can. I want it to be a different type of healing experience than normally because we're so inundated by hate and TV and wars and all the bullshit that doesn't make sense. I want y'all to experience what not having that as your primary actually feels like. So I'm inviting everybody. My husband's like, you're inviting everybody? Yeah, because if they're choosing to spend money to leave the country and come celebrate with me, you are absolutely fucking right. I want them there with me. So you gotta go on. You gotta go on, make plans. I'm a party without you, but I'm a party harder with you. So I need y'all to come too. I'm going to see y'all next week. I will be in the middle of my class next week. I'm very excited because I have my first holistic dentist who's actually going to come and take my certification. So that's super exciting. I'm going to see y'all. Katie said, am I going to give a class in the Dominican Republic? Interesting question. Probably not because I'll be intoxicated a lot of the time. However, that's you know what? What I may be doing are some special little educational series on the beach. That's an excellent question. And just because you asked that, if you come, Katie, then yes, I would do that. Yeah, I will do that. Otherwise, I will see you lovelies next week. Raquel, I will see you next week too, right? You're from Martinique? Oh, yeah, then you definitely have to come. And we need to have some beach, oceanside type of I would love that. Maybe we'll do that as part of the morning exercise because I said what I was going to do is have a chill time, either some sort of, I don't know, breathing exercise or something before we started the party every day. So that might be a really good idea. Boni dia. Yes, very good. You're so welcome. I will see y'all next week. Thank y'all for being on, and hopefully those of you who weren't planning to come to DR will come. Y'all have a great week. Smile at somebody. If you don't smile, smile every day just because. And then look at people when you smile at them and watch how they respond, because initially they may not think about it, and then they see you and then they do the same thing. So I will see y'all next week. Have an awesome, awesome, awesome week. Thanks, y'all.